You make your third contribution to building the new world, the world-state temple of humanity, by first creating a temple in your heart. The new construction begins within you yourself. What do you mean by that? What is a temple in the heart? Let me explain. While your body is doing its work on earth, your soul is dwelling in a higher sphere. As a spiritual being, it cannot exist in a material, but only in a spiritual world. The feet of a spiritual warrior are on earth, and the head is in the fiery world. You have built up your eternal individuality with the help of your thoughts and feelings. Now you must use the same means to create a world for it to live in. You can usually do little to change the external conditions of earthly life, but they are also insignificant. I see that differently. Surely the circumstances in which I have to dwell, in which I am placed, are the decisive factor for my life. No, that only applies to your body, your transient personality. Your true self, however, is your soul. Once you have recognized this, you will also agree. Your real existence is the life of your soul. Your true existence, the home of your soul. You create yourself. Everything is possible. You can create any home you want for your eternal individuality. That is why it is said, in the same environment, everyone lives in a different world. A great spirit shapes for itself a marvelous world. A small spirit, a poor one. Each spirit creates his own world, and the beauty or ugliness of the created world depends upon the quality of consciousness. I don't understand. By changing your thinking, you change the world in which you live. If, for example, you manage to rejoice in every situation, even the most dreadful one, because you know it was allocated to you so that your soul may learn and continue to ascend, you live in the highest world despite all horrors, namely in precisely that sphere which is ideal for your personal progress. Reality is created by our thoughts. By changing our thoughts, we can change our reality. We find confirmed what Agni Yoga teaches. The new world is a state of consciousness. The new world is born everywhere, beyond boundaries and conditions. The old world and the new world are distinguished through consciousness, not by outer evidence. Age and circumstance bear no importance. Agni Yoga promises you can live in a paradise already now, during your earthly incarnation. How do I carry out this fantastic project in today's terrible circumstances? By building a temple in your heart, by molding the spiritual world which your eternal individuality inhabits, the heavenly backdrop against which your earthly life takes place, the subtle environment in which your physical existence is embedded into a sacred place. On the inner level, in the fourth dimension of existence, your eternal individuality lives in a sanctuary. In a personal paradise, which does not require any external material means, which still exists in the midst of all earthly labors, worries, and suffering, even in the most terrible hell. The kingdom of God cometh not in such a way that it can be seen with the eyes, neither shall they say, Lo, here, or Lo, there it is. For, behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Within you there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time. You determine the world in which you live, not the physical circumstances. How exactly do I build a sanctuary within myself? In the spiritual world, everything is created by our thoughts. So you form an idea of the heaven in which your soul wants to live, and mold your non-material surroundings according to this ideal. This is a true act of creation which you carry out with the help of your own thoughts and feelings. You build in spirit, in your imagination, a temple in the subtle world. Or you join a structure already existing there, your father's house, your supermundane home, in which your soul has been living for aeons. You create around you the atmosphere, the hologram of a holy place. The temple in the heart is an edifice of thought, a virtual reality, which cannot be seen, but nevertheless exists and can be felt. You are an artist, a temple builder, from the material of the fourth dimension, of the subtle world around you. You create a work of art. Picture a very concrete image of this thought form so that it can become a living reality on the soul level. Anything you can imagine is possible. For example, the heaven of a disciple of the Brotherhood is the ashram of his teacher. Visualize this place, the home of your soul, again and again during the day. Put yourself in the vibration of a sacred place. Then this marvelous world will actually come into being around you, at least on the spiritual level. Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. What do you have to offer someone who neither can nor wants to live in an ashram? Choose as your spiritual home the village which lies at the foot of every ashram. This is where those dwell who do not yet regard themselves as disciples of the Brotherhood, but who nevertheless want to contribute to the new construction. They also live and work under the guidance of the Mahatmas. They occasionally visit the ashram to receive advice and help. They are the little brothers and sisters, or disciples of a lower degree, of one and the same community. You transport yourself in thought into this ashram which you have created in the higher world. You play that you are living in this sacred place. Like a child in its fantasy world, where everything it imagines is reality. Your eternal individuality visits its eternal home, heaven, from which it was expelled at birth to incarnate, and to which it wants to return after death. Your soul soars into these bright realms. It now dwells in its own spiritual sphere, high above the chaos, hardship, suffering and worry of everyday earthly life. It is not affected by any of this. In a world where tranquility, peace, joy, serenity and solemnity reign. Staying in such a holy place alone uplifts your being, just like visiting a church, an art museum or a concert hall. Up there, you find your way back to your original fiery state of high vibration, of purity, wisdom, vitality, joy, light, and love. In the solemn atmosphere of a sanctuary, the moods and desires of the transient personality remain silent, You would not even think of smoking or drinking a beer there, would you?